I got curious when I first saw the book's title, Why Don't Students Like School? What thoughts would Daniel T. Willingham, a cognitive scientist, have on this matter? Would this book offer solutions to the problems that students today encounter in the classroom? Would it provide insight into why some students succeed while others struggle? In this video, we will explore the key ideas from this book and how they can help teachers create better learning experiences. Stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to the Learning Network for more insightful content on education and teaching strategies. I got curious when I first saw the book's title, Why Don't Students Like School? What thoughts would Daniel T. Willingham, a cognitive scientist, have on this matter? Would this book offer solutions to the problems that students today encounter in the classroom? Would it provide insight into why some students succeed while others struggle? Before diving into the book, it's important to understand what it is and what it is not. This book does not explore the impact of poverty, social background, or cultural differences on education. It doesn't examine the challenges faced by students from disadvantaged areas or the reasons why some school systems fail. Those are complex issues, and there are other books that deal with them. Instead, this book focuses on something different but equally important: how the human brain processes and remembers information, and how this understanding can be used to improve teaching. One of the first things I noticed about the book was its structure. It covers a wide range of topics, sometimes jumping from one idea to another without clear transitions. At first, this made it feel a bit scattered. But as I kept reading, I realized this actually makes the book a great reference tool. You don't have to read it from start to finish. You can open any chapter, find something useful, and apply it to your teaching. One of the key ideas in the book is about how memory works. Willingham explains that our brain has two types of memory: short-term and long-term. If students don't transfer information from short-term memory to long-term memory, they will quickly forget it. This means that for learning to be effective, lessons must be engaging, structured, and repeated over time. Teachers often debate whether it's more important to teach facts or to develop thinking skills. Willingham argues that factual knowledge must come first. Without a solid foundation of facts, students cannot develop higher-level thinking skills. Research supports this idea. Students who already have background knowledge about a topic tend to remember more information, even if they have lower reading skills. Another powerful idea in the book is about how experts think. Beginners and experts approach problems differently. Beginners tend to focus on surface-level details, while experts recognize deeper patterns. This is because experts can draw from their long-term memory and connect new information to what they already know. Their decisions are usually more accurate because they understand the root causes of a problem rather than just its surface features. This raises an important question: how can we train students to think like experts? Willingham emphasizes the importance of practice. However, not just any practice: deliberate, focused practice. He cites studies showing that teachers improve the most during their first 5 years. After that, their progress often slows down. A teacher with 20 years of experience may not be better than one with 10 years if they are not actively working to improve their skills. This insight was eye-opening. It's not enough to simply gain experience. We must constantly reflect, adapt, and refine our methods. Throughout the book, Willingham challenges several common beliefs about teaching. One of the most striking ideas is about student engagement. Many teachers believe that if they make a lesson interesting, students will automatically remember it. But Willingham warns that this is not always the case. It's not enough to make a lesson fun or relatable. Teachers need to carefully consider what students will actually pay attention to, rather than what they hope students will focus on. For example, a history teacher might use an entertaining story to make a lesson engaging. But if students remember the funny details of the story rather than the historical facts, the lesson has failed in its purpose. Another misconception he addresses is about intelligence. Many people believe intelligence is something you are born with and cannot change. Willingham argues that effort and mindset are much more important than natural ability. Studies show that students who are praised for their effort, comments like "you worked really hard on this," tend to develop a growth mindset. They believe they can improve through hard work. On the other hand, students who are always told they are smart may become afraid of challenges. They start to think that intelligence is fixed and that failure means they are not really smart. This fear of failure can hold them back from trying harder tasks. Willingham's message is clear: students need to believe that intelligence is something they can grow. If they understand that mistakes and struggles are part of learning, they will be more willing to put in the effort needed to improve. The book also provides some very practical tips for teachers. One of the best strategies he shares is the idea of breaking down large amounts of information into smaller, more manageable parts. Instead of overwhelming students with too much content at once, teachers should introduce information in chunks. Another useful technique is using emotions to help students remember. Research shows that when people have an emotional reaction to something, they are more likely to remember it. A lesson that makes students feel excited, surprised, or even a little frustrated will stick in their memory longer than one that feels dull and routine. Another key tip is to structure lessons like a story, with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Stories naturally engage our brains, making it easier to follow and remember information. Finally, he emphasizes the importance of reviewing material at spaced intervals rather than cramming everything together. Reviewing content on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis helps reinforce learning and prevents students from forgetting. But the book doesn't just focus on how students learn, it also offers valuable advice on how teachers can improve. Willingham suggests working closely with at least one other person in your classroom. Having another teacher observe your class can help you see things from a different perspective. Recording yourself teaching is another powerful tool. Watching your own lessons can be uncomfortable, but it helps identify areas for improvement. He also encourages teachers to keep a reflective teaching diary. Writing down what worked well and what didn't can be a great way to track progress over time. One of the most surprising arguments in the book is about learning styles. Many educators believe that students learn best when they are taught using their preferred learning style: visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. But Willingham argues that there is little scientific evidence to support this idea. Research suggests that students do not always apply skills learned in one format to another. For example, a student who learns math through hands-on activities might not be able to transfer those skills to a written test. This challenges a widely held belief, and it's something for teachers to think about. Overall, Why Don't Students Like School? Is a fascinating mix of science and practical advice. Some of its ideas may challenge what you believe about teaching and learning, but it provides a wealth of research-backed insights. The book does not cover everything. There is still so much to learn about how the brain works and how we can apply this knowledge to education. But for teachers looking for concrete ways to improve their practice, this book is an excellent resource. One of the most memorable lines from the book is this: "Teaching is an art of persuasion." This statement stayed with me long after I finished reading. Teaching is not just about giving students information, it's about getting them to think, engage, and care about learning. As I continue on my own teaching journey, I will keep these lessons in mind, always striving to improve and make a real difference in the lives of my students.